First, let's talk about the debate and whether you're thinking today, okay, you don't like Trump maybe, but he'd be better than Biden. Last night, President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump faced off. They were in the room together at the first televised debate of the election year. People have said 81-year-old Biden is past it, and this debate will not have helped him one bit. The president stumbled. There were pauses. There was stuttering. He spoke about changes he would make to billionaires' taxes to fund Medicare, for example. And he said this.
They, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
So Trump said, you're right there. You sure did beat Medicare. So that was a disastrous answer for Biden. They then had a strange moment talking about their golfing skills.
I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way, and I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards.
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie. He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
Never.
But I have, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
It's so strange. They had a rule, right? The microphone thing. It was chaotic when they had their first debate 4 years ago. So this time, if one person's speaking, the other one's microphone is shut down. And it sort of worked. But there were still some interchanges. So this is Biden calling out Trump over his relationship with Stormy Daniels.
How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one. Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won.
How do we sum it up then, this first debate? And it was, by the way, brought on by Biden here. Basically, people saying Trump lied, Biden stumbled. That's just sort of the balanced view of it, it seems. And you've got pictures from bars around USA. This is New York, of people watching. They really get involved in these debates. That, I think, is a Trump fan, or maybe it's, I can't work it out. That's definitely a Biden fan. Make lying wrong again. And he's got his head in his hands. And if you want to see the image, there's the Biden, and there, I think this guy might well be Trump. And they were feeling triumphant. So the Trump side feel they won against the Biden side because Biden just looks so old. And actually, they had a poll in the Times. I thought, I'll vote just to see the result. I said Biden won. And when I voted, I see only 17% of people agree with me. So Trump, these are the second debates last time. And you can see Biden was miles ahead. This time, Trump is miles ahead. And you've now got Democratic frontliners saying this is a big moment. Nikki Haley for the Republicans saying, mark my words, Biden isn't going to be the guy, because there is still time to switch him. And this is where it's so interesting, Yasmin, that it may be the debate triggers a putsch.
Yeah, but there are two things to say. I find all of these debates utterly dispiriting, whether here or in the United States. Because it's a performance. And having said that, I wish we had the same rule they have, that the mic is turned off. Because the last debate we had, Sunak never stopped talking over people and so on. Having said, I think if this allows the Democrats to pick another candidate, It's brilliant.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It will.
Would you not say if you were given these two, you would vote Trump? Even you would
I
vote
would
Trump?
not vote Trump.
But given
He's
that the other guy can't
convicted
speak.
felon.
Yeah.
He's a convicted
But
felon.
he can speak. He can speak.
It doesn't matter.
Biden can't.
I don't vote for people who are like Trump. Trump is a criminal.
But if you're given this choice, Mike...
I was going to say, so if you've got no alternative, you've got to vote for Trump.
No, I would vote for
because
Biden.
The man we saw last night, who's the President of the United States of America and leader of the Western world, is unfit for office. Now, I stayed up and watched it all, OK? And at the end, they suddenly sent all the Democratic representatives out into the crowd to tell everybody, oh, don't worry, the President wasn't mumbling, he wasn't incoherent, he's got a bad cold. Right? That's what they tried to tell everybody, because it's obvious when you look back, he was mumbling, he was incoherent. He started one line of argument talking about abortion, which is a strong subject for him. He then drifted into immigration, which is a very weak subject.
Yes, I don't know why he did that. I saw that, yeah.
And then ended up with the Medicare, right? And what Trump said at the end was, you didn't just beat it, you beat it to death.
Yeah.
OK?
Trump-
He just missaid, though, didn't
Trump
he?
is a liar, Mike. Just because he can do the witticisms and I'm really smart, he's a liar.
But
He's a felon.
Yes, I agree with you on that. Honestly, I can't contest that.
He's never been a Trump fan.
What I'm saying is somebody's got to lead the Western world with confidence in the terribly difficult times we have. And for my mind, that's got to be Trump. Biden was responsible.
Even though he's a felon and a liar.
I'm sorry, but yes, because there is no alternative.
OK, let's go to Emma. Emma in London. I don't know what you think of it. Do you think Trump in the end is going to win this thing?
I hope not. I hope not, because of when all the stuff happened, when he got the Washington
The riots?
and the riots and that. I think, and the fact that he didn't respect the will of the American people, I think that he should. I think that they've got a very bad choice between both of them. You've got a bumbling idiot, or you've got Donald Trump. And I'd rather, if I was having the country, I'd rather have the bumbling idiot in charge, to be fair.
Well, it's a very tricky choice. I mean, if Biden is as ill as people say, or as far gone, it may go beyond bumbling.
Yeah, it may well be. But when I talk about the safety of the Western world, talking to our caller here as well, I mean, Donald Trump can say, no wars started when I was President of the United States of America. I kept North Korea in check. I kept Putin in check. The moment Biden came in and made an ill-judged comment to say a minor incursion into the Ukraine by Putin wouldn't be a problem, all of a sudden we've got the invasion of Ukraine. He's not safe to run a free world.
Believe me, Trump is not going to try and get Russia out of Ukraine. It was perfectly clear last night, wasn't it? He was basically saying Zelensky's a great salesman. I mean, which is kind of an insult, really.
No, but he will try and find a solution, because that's what Trump sells himself on. I'm the deal maker. No, I think he will. I think he'll say to Zelensky, you're going to have to make some concessions.
Oh, you're fired, he'll say, will he? Thinking he's on the apprentice.
Well, he might, but he gets results.
We'll take our break. We're taking more of your calls on whether or not you like Donald Trump. You looked at the debate last night and you just thought, given the choice, it has to be Trump because Biden is so far gone. Now, more of your calls on whether you think Trump would be a better president than Biden. Dave in Manchester, faced with the choice, who would you vote for?
I would say neither of them.
Nope, can't do that. Can't do that, Dave. That's not the game we're playing here.
Well, you said that there is reasons for that. I think they've both got medical problems surrounding their age, manifesting itself in different ways.
Yep.
And not only were the the American public listening to what was happening in the early hours of this morning, but the Russians and the Chinese and lots of other nations and groups that don't like the USA as well.
Of course, but are you thinking, come on, go with us on this. Are you thinking that given Biden's state of disarray, you have to go Trump? Or do you think, as Yasmin does, Trump is just too big a risk for everyone? You'd vote for a character from the Muppets rather than that.
I think they're both at a risk. I think both of them should retire.
Right. Okay, we can't get anywhere here. Thanks, Dave. Ian in Watford. Given the choice, who would you go for?
Well, it's inevitable, really, isn't it? There's a momentum going, and I think really that Trump is ahead at this moment.
Yeah, it's weird, the US system. There's about 5 states that are going to count here, and he seems to have been ahead. But he's taken a bit of a beating after his conviction, interestingly. So it has sunk into people, we're going to be electing a criminal. And some of them aren't happy with that, Ian.
Well, that I agree with, and that is the dilemma. And this is where the problem starts. So you've got somebody who could be possibly a president who could be in jail. And I don't know how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, he was slating the judge and everything during the debate. Was it, he's this thing of attacking, you're not supposed to do that, really, attack the judge.
I tell you, I don't think...
The worst judge I've ever seen. Not only bad, the guy was sick.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if everybody watched the debate last night like I did, but immediately after it finished, a guy called Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, came on to comment, and he looked everything that an American president should
Democrat,
be.
right?
A Democrat.
Yeah.
A Democrat governor of California. California is a democratic state. He is tall, handsome, eloquent, and I'm thinking to myself, if they've got any sense, get a guy like him in for the election.
I love the idea.
And you'll be able to get home and drive.
The tall and handsome qualify you. I mean, you get
It's
Robbie
the John
Williams
F. Kennedy
in.
effect. It's the John F. Kennedy effect.
But
of
I
this,
mean,
magnificent image.
Well, then you never, you're not tall necessarily, are you?
I'd never be president.
Well, you wouldn't be president because you're not tall enough for Mike. Mike wants someone who's 6'1".
Well, Rishi Sunak's done all right, hasn't he? And he's small.
Well, but
he never got elected.
Well, it doesn't matter. He reached top office.
No, but regardless of that, I do agree with you. I think that they've got some people who...
Yeah.
But the trouble is that they'd have to put real rocket boosters under them, wouldn't they? And I don't think they can bypass...
Not much time. How many months are left?
Well, they've got the convention, which is when he's
exactly, where it can all change. It can,
and he might just
act together. It can change.
They just lock him in his hotel room. They say, look, you're not coming out, and he says, what day is it? And they say, look, don't worry, you're on holiday.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then they
be mean.
It's a serious. It's not age. It's not the issue. It's cognitive decline. And I watched the debate, and I was actually shocked.
Yeah, so was I. Unless they get going, and as you quite rightly say, do something radical, there's the danger that Kamala Harris might slip into the Oval Office because she's vice president.
But she should be the first choice. Well, why would you bypass her?
Because a lot of people say, and the polls prove it, she's less popular than the president and less capable as a politician.
Before we go to our next call, we've got a couple more clips, and I know you want to see these. So the first one is on the age issue, which we were talking about. Have a look.
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent.
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health.
I mean, it's so. One person looks sort of stumbling, and the other person looks just turbo confident, and sort of almost as a fantasy.
Mad. He looks mad.
Well, there's a madness. Yeah, Trump accused Biden of being the worst president in American history.
Yeah. Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This shouldn't be a debate. He is the worst president. He just said about me because I said it. But look. He's the worst president in the history of our country.
The idea that we're talking about worst presidents, I wasn't joking. Look it up, go online. 159 or 58, don't hold me the exact number, presidential historians, they've had meetings and they voted who's the worst president in American history. Best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history. That's a fact.
I just get stuck on it. He can't remember if it's 158 or 159. I know I shouldn't. He had bits of paper in front of him as well. Yeah. And anyway, look, it was
a good point. That was fine.
Listen, no one is doubting Trump has some serious demerits. Sylvia in Durham, which way, if you had to go one way or the other, which way would you go?
I think that's a very difficult question to answer, mostly because President Biden, my heart breaks for that gentleman because I do think he's in the early stages of dementia, and I find that very sad because I know what that's like. I looked after my mum for a long time with dementia. But Donald Trump, do I want him to run America? America's a very powerful country, and a lot of us hang on every word they say. And Donald Trump is the most vile human being anyone could produce, because unless you agree with everything that man says, he will turn on you and rip your throat out.
Yeah, there was a strange moment in the debate where he said, if I become president, Joe Biden could end up in jail. Now, I think he was saying theoretically any ex-president can be charged, but it sounded a bit like a threat, Sylvia.
Yeah, this man, unless you agree with everything this man says, he will come for you. And, I mean, this country has been through the wars. It has been terrible for the last few years. Yeah. But I think America is in a great deal more bad situation than what we'll ever be in.
Yeah. Thanks, Sylvia. One more call. Angela in Merseyside. Hi.
Hi.
What do you think if you had to choose?
Oh, I would definitely choose Biden.
OK. I mean, it's unfair to say this, but you're almost dementia versus madness. It's almost that kind of choice, isn't it? Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from here. And I understand what we saw last night, which is what I saw in the early hours in the morning, was quite a shock. And the only thing is, with Trump, last time he was in, there were still problems. People getting gassed in the street, people fighting and shooting one another in the street, a person having themselves killed by somebody leaning on their neck.
I'm sorry, can I just ask you very quickly, do you think the world would be safe with Joe Biden in charge of the West? I mean, I can't see it. I can't see how he can make a properly balanced decision when there are dictators in the world, in North Korea, in Iraq, in Russia. Somebody's got to stand up to them, and Trump stands up to them.
Angela, what about that? He will keep us safer.
He's only standing up to them because he's going to give you the same laws in their country. That's why he's standing up to them. He is not going to be a peacemaker. He's going to be a deal maker with those sort of countries.
There were no wars when he was last president over 4 years. The only president since the Second World War where America haven't engaged in overseas military activity.
Isn't it like Mike saying, I'm really safe at home because we've got two massive XL bullies on chains, and the thought is they're going to attack you one day, and that's the thought with Trump, isn't it? That,
yeah.
Well, you agree? So you're not... Well, the idea that the guard dog actually ends up attacking its own family.
Well, no, I'm just going on his track record.
Yeah, OK.
Of how
so having a very scary president doesn't always work out well.
Well, other people are scared of him outside of America.
He's a totally ignorant president. He doesn't know where certain countries are in the world.
No,
this is a man who is a narcissist and is only interested in power.
The CIA could only get him to read briefings, apparently, by putting his name in them in large letters.
Yes.
Because he could only focus if it was about him. So they realised he wasn't reading his briefings.
Documents they found in his home.
Yeah, I know.
All the defence documents.
Well, we're heading for 4 more years. Judging by last night, we're heading back into 4 more years of that.
Every subject he talked about last night, he eventually turned to himself. There's a story about Medicare. I know all about that.
I know, but I mean, he is up against a very, very, very weak candidate. That is the problem here. Angela, thank you. Thanks for all your calls. It's so fascinating what's going on in the States.